Hey everyone, Ripley with Bob's Watches. I'm here with Justin, and today we're going to be talking about our favorite new releases from Watches and Wonders Geneva, and also talking about if we think we might see anything new at Shanghai next week. Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video content. So, Justin, I think most of the watches from Watches and Wonders we've now seen at the Geneva event is pretty much wrapped. We talked about the Rolex releases. Your favorite is the blue dial Sky Dweller, now on a Jubilee bracelet. Yes. My favorite's that green palm dial. Something we didn't mention is that the date has been discontinued. So no 34mm date. That makes sense. It was kind of always this weird inconsistency. Why is it not a Datejust? So
sure.
Now
I was going to say, what do you think about that? Is it a big deal? Is it not so big a deal? Is it expected?
I think if it was almost any other watch, it might be a big deal of theirs, but it's always kind of been the afterthought. It was the last usage of the 3135 movement. Now it's gone. The Datejust collection just makes more sense now, and I can see why they did that. I don't think it's going to create a huge rush on the secondary market for Rolex dates, but anyone who wants that kind of sweet spot between 31 and 36, the discontinued date kind of is going to be your closest option, so we'll see.
It is, and it's kind of a very niche spot, right? I mean, usually if you're looking for something on the smaller side, you could go with the 35, the 36. If you're looking for something even smaller, you can go to the ladies size or the mid size. So it was kind of right in between, and I felt like didn't get a lot of attention because of that. It was very easy to choose a watch that was either slightly bigger or slightly smaller, and there was a lot of options in those categories.
And if you absolutely must have 34, they still make an OP in 34. So there's that. But on to their sibling company, Tudor. What was your favorite Tudor release?
Tudor did some cool stuff, right?
It's very unexpected stuff, yeah.
A lot of precious metals, and I think that's my favorite is the solid gold. It's the first one from Tudor, right? The Black Bay 58?
Yeah, solid 18 karat, green dial, green bezel,
yeah.
And a display case back, which is uncharacteristic for the brand as well as Rolex. Yeah. Also alongside that is the sterling silver version, which I think is stranger, but
that one is more interesting, I think.
Yeah, really unexpected. Sterling silver, it's not like an unprecedented use of the material. It used to be something that was used quite a lot more, but I think they're doing it as an alternate to bronze. It's going to patina, and I think it's just, priced wise, it's sort of more in that, $4,000 area rather than, 5 figures like the 18 karat model. For me, I think I like that chrono, the new chronograph.
The new chronograph is really nice.
Yeah, I think they just did just the right tweaks that it kind of has a little bit more of that like 6.2, 6.3 vintage Daytona vibe. But it doesn't look like a carbon copy. It has Tudor's design elements. It's got the hands, got the square markers. So it's kind of, I think it's a smart move.
Exactly. It's that vintage nod without being just a straight copy or re-release.
Yeah, and being a 2-register layout is, immediately different from the vintage Rolex counterpart. So I think it's a nice one. They say they made the watch itself thinner compared to the old chrono. So I'd really like to see that in person and see just how much thinner and how
That'll be interesting to compare that side by side and see. I can enjoy a thinner watch there, right? Like I think they could have shaved a couple millimeters off there. It would have made it a little more comfortable. And hopefully that's what they did with this one, and it hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, for me, it's my favorite one from them. Largely a solid gold Tudor. If I'm paying that money, I'm going to get Rolex. Sterling silver's not really my thing, and if I was really going to get a 58, I get one of the steel models that in either blue or black. So I think the chrono, it's kind of the most unusual, if not necessarily the most unexpected release.
Right.
And I think the white dial with the black bezel really pops.
It looks really nice. The 2 registers look really nice. It's a little less common. And it's a great looking watch. I like the gold. I really like that color combination. The gold and green, I think, is a fantastic colorway. Also, the fact that it's their first solid gold sport watch. I think there's something to be said for that. I mean, it's throughout history, they're going to release more, and this is always going to be the first one. I think that's kind of special and kind of cool.
Also, speaking things special, Patek Philippe had a pretty interesting release launch. Everything was talking about the green dial 5711 at first.
Right.
But following on the heels of that, they also have the new Calatravas and also that inline perpetual calendar with the blue dial and platinum, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, really nice. Very overshadowed by the Nautilus, right?
Yeah, I can see why they didn't release it all together, and they chose to keep the Nautilus with the the rose gold travel time chrono. But with these, I think that blue dial is stunning, and I think the display for a perpetual calendar, which is, there's no way to make it not busy. I think that inline is super, it makes perfect sense when you see the movement architecture.
It's really clean.
But the way that they executed it is really nice. I love the Nautilus. Green's my favorite color, but
Sure.
I just can't in good conscience say that's my favorite release from them. I think that blue dial inline travel...
Officially on record, your favorite new Patek is...
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay, because I think Patek Philippe does complications, almost like high complications, better than almost anyone else. So there's all this hype about steel sports watches. The Nautilus is excellent, and I'll be the first to say it's a lovely piece. But if I'm going to be actually spending tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a Patek Philippe, I want something in precious metals, and I want something with complications, because I think that is quintessential Patek.
It is.
So, would I love a green dial Nautilus? Absolutely. That's a watch that no amount of money is going to buy. The only people that are going to get that watch are the ones that have either the best relationship with their AD, or their AD owes them a favor.
Right.
So I think as far as like actual releases and just as a standalone piece, yeah, that inline perpetual calendar is absolutely beautiful.
So do you think we're not going to see a whole lot of these new Pateks circulating for a while? Is it going to be, like the previous Nautilus, very scarce, right? Years worth of waiting lists. How long do you think it's going to be before these start making their way out into the wild, and you
The
start
green
seeing
dial
some?
ones?
Yeah.
I don't think we're really going to be seeing them, because in the blue dial one, it wasn't such a special thing. Obviously very special, up to a 10-year wait. There was a high liquidity. You could go literally make tens of thousands of dollars by just turning around and reselling it. And it wasn't a new watch. It's such a small number that are going to be made. People are saying they're only going to make it for about a year or so. Who knows if that's true, but if your retailer allocates one to you, that's an honor. And I think turning around and selling it just so you can cash in is kind of a slap in the face. So I wouldn't be surprised if we really don't see that many of these green dial ones floating around, but we'll see. We'll see. Everyone has their price, and I'm sure someone's willing to burn that bridge to, make who knows what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, I'm sure some very large sum. It's a little disappointing though, because I loved the blue version, and when it came out, when I saw the green, sold instantly, loved it. That's my favorite, and we're not going to get to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, but at the same time, I was never a buyer for one of these watches.
That's true.
Maybe at its retail price, I might eat ramen for 5 years and figure out a way to swing it, but on open market pricing for these watches, let alone the inline perpetual, I'm not really a buyer for it. I can appreciate them for what they are, but it's not necessarily something I can fiscally make possible and add to my watch box. But one brand that is Oris. Relatively concise new releases, because they're a brand that kind of staggers them throughout the year. They've had some already released this year. They're probably going to have more. So the three main offerings from them were the that Aquis Pro date with the calibre 400, that watt limited edition, to save the watt and C. And then my favorite release, those 38mm bronze Diver 65s cotton candy.
I agree on that, 100%. Those are really fun watches, really cool pieces. I like the size, I like the bronze, I like the colors, I like everything about those.
Yeah, they're colorful, kind of catching that whole colorful dial wave, but not in this oversaturated color. They're more kind of pastel leaning, cotton candy as they call them.
Okay.
And it's also just such an inherently Oris watch. They've done it in bronze. It's not derivative of a Submariner, or it's not your classic dive watch.
Classic style that's even from their vintage watches influenced.
Yeah, with the solid bronze bracelet too, and it's 27.5 or something like that with the bronze bracelet. 24.5 if you get it on the leather, and that's a fun watch.
Yeah.
I also understand that they intentionally chose those three colors so that it'll complement the natural tones of the bronze as it patinas. So I think, we've only seen what they look like new, but I think that'll be a watch that, a couple years down the line, when you start seeing people's examples, depending on where they live, how they wear it, we're going to see some really interesting pieces.
We're going to see some really interesting stuff, especially with the solid bronze bracelet. I love bronze. I have a couple bronze watches. They have different levels of patina, and I really enjoy it. I like seeing the, how they age differently and the different looks they get, and both of those are on leather. To see a solid bronze bracelet and see how the whole entire thing is going to patina and really kind of come alive, I think that's really cool. I can't wait to see how those turn out.
And with the $300 price premium compared to the leather strap, I'd spend that much on straps
Absolutely.
just trying to find the right one. So yeah, for me, well, what color would you get?
I like that blue. That Daphne powder blue color is a great color.
It's they're the Powerpuff Girls, man. It's the same colors. You got the same watches. They're fantastic, and I'm going Team Bubbles on that one. I'd take the blue one on the bracelet.
I like it. The green's not bad. I even like the pink one, but the blue I think is.
I think the green might look really interesting with a deep patina on the case, but again, we'll have to see when they come up. But I have a couple green dials. I really don't have that many blue, and certainly not that like striking
shade of blue.
Yeah, so I'd go with that one.
The green will look nice because that patina a lot of times has that subtle green tone to it. I mean, granted, it's different. It's like darker when it comes out of the metal, but having that tie-in with the dial, I think could make a really nice patinaed watch.
Absolutely, and bronze is something we also see over in Panerai's catalog. That new 42 millimeter bronzo with a blue dial. I think this is nice. I can't wear 47 millimeters. I really can't. That can't be a daily for me. But something about a bronze Lumar style case is. It's sweet, and now at 42 millimeters, it's something that puts it a lot more in the realm of possibility for
42
a lot of people.
is a great size.
Yeah.
42 is a great size. I like the blue. I think it's a great combination with the blue strap and the blue dial. Again, this is a darker blue than the Oris we were just speaking to, but it's no less fantastic. That dark blue with the bronze is such a great looking color combination.
Is it your favorite new Panerai?
It's a toss-up between that one and the new E-Lab. Just for the sheer looks of the E-Lab, it's not really something that we're going to see that many of. I mean, it's $60,000 and very limited, right?
Yeah, $60,000. But like, I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the purpose of it. They're not saving the world by selling this $60,000 watch made out of almost 100% recycled materials. What they're doing is using it as a halo piece to showcase their suppliers who operate on a very sustainable level, and in that regard, hey, we're talking about it now, and I think from just a visual standpoint, that iteration of the submersible does look really cool.
It's an amazing watch, right?
$60,000, probably not going to be a buyer on that one, but in terms of what it is, and in terms of what it might speak for as far as Panerai's direction moving forward, I think it says a lot.
I love the design, I love the statement. I mean, it's a really cool watch. So I don't know, practicality, that bronze, like if I'm buying the new Panerai, it's going to be that bronze one, that blue 42, absolutely. The titanium is, I got a spot in my heart for that one.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same on that. My money, I got to get the 42 millimeter bronze. It's just, it's a watch I want.
42 millimeters is such a good size because it's large. If you want the large Panerai size, which is something that's, synonymous with the name, you expect a large watch. It still ticks that box. It's significantly larger than a Submariner or something.
It's got that crown guard
it's
bridge.
Still a big watch. But if, like you said, 44, 46, 47 is too large, then it's still comfortable. You can still manage to wear it. I love it. I think it's a really smart move by Panerai.
Anything else that I think that Reverso is incredible. I'm pretty sure if you figure out how all 11 complications work and see all 4 different faces at once, time will stand still or something. But I think that's great as a halo piece.
It's beyond amazing.
Yeah,
right.
It's just really well done, and props to them for including that many complications, that well executed, and in a case size that didn't become, a brick, like a literal brick.
Yeah.
So many of those high complication watches just become, golf balls, softballs, and bigger. So I think it's a really well executed piece and just visually absolutely stunning.
Visually stunning. They get so many times those grand complications get too cluttered and they're hard to read, and I don't know, I just don't think, I'm impressed by what's there, but I just don't think it's it's done really eloquently a lot of times. And this one, it's just amazing. They've done such a good job of including it all and making it look fantastic. That's my favorite piece from the entire Watches and Wonders.
Yeah, if someone gave me a blank check and said you can add any watch from Watches and Wonders, okay, I'm taking that one, and I'm just going to spend a week straight staring at it.
Sure.
And then, I think we should also just mention Hublot made a full sapphire watch, sapphire bracelet. I think they say what you will about their designs, they're obviously not for everybody, but they do have a very distinct design language. And from a material science standpoint, whether it's really, really rich colors of ceramic, or in this case, literally a full sapphire watch, I think it's worth talking about. And also the fact that it's not like $10 million, it's only like $500,000 or thereabouts.
Definitely, yeah.
It's something.
They're always pushing the envelope, right? In terms of designs, in terms of material, technology, processes, they're always on that edge. And this is a perfect example of it. And I think it's great. I'd be really curious to see it, I'd say in the metal, but really in the in the sapphire
Yeah.
and you know, get hands-on and see how it feels and really spend some time with it. But it definitely caught my interest.
So we're both taking that JLC if it's a blank check, but now you gotta buy a watch. Which one is it gonna be?
If I gotta buy one?
Your own money, yeah. And you can't let your family eat ramen for the next 3 years to make it happen.
I'm buying that Panerai 42 bronze.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna go to bronze watch, and I'm gonna take that bronze Oris. I think for 27 and a half, that's a great deal, and it's also not so precious that I'm gonna wanna wear that. I'm gonna wanna wear it in the ocean and just let that patina build.
He's gonna say you can let that
Yeah.
patina come out. You don't have to stress about it being, you know, crazy expensive. And also, you know, it's gonna work. I mean, Oris makes great stuff. It's a very reliable Swiss watch that, you know, you can wear every day.
Yeah, I don't have anything with a bronze bracelet, obviously.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like how it, as a vacation watch, it's great. It's a ton of fun, screams vacation, but also if you wear it on vacation, the patina it picks up is going to be reflective of where you went. I love the poetry in that. I'll go buy into that for 27 and a half and be very happy with that.
Good choice.
So yeah, I might have to pick one up if it comes through our hands here.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things about this show is that it's in kind of two parts. You've got the Watches and Wonder Geneva online event, and then you have an in-person event in Shanghai where about half, I think it's 19 of the 38 participating brands are going to be there in person to show their new watches. There's been a lot of talk of maybe some brands are going to drop some unexpected new releases.
I have heard some things.
I personally don't think that's really in the cards. We might see a few things of brands trying to catch some headlines, but you know, are they going to reprint a print catalog to include these new novelties, or you know, how is that? How, you know, logistically, how is that going to happen?
Sure. So there has been talk about brands that have been holding pieces to kind of make an additional statement at Shanghai. Do you think that's likely? Do you think that's not likely? And if so, which brands are you expecting? I've heard that Rolex is going to do something personally. I see that as pretty unlikely.
The solid
I'd be
gold
curious to hear your
Explorer
opinion.
too. Yeah, I've heard that rumor as well. I just don't think it's going to happen. We've seen photos of the print catalog.
Yes.
And it would seem wild for them to then send out a revised copy. For a watch that would be a core model like that. I think if we're going to see any novelties, it's going to be those off-catalog things, and probably not from Rolex. It's going to be some brand like, you know, who we're not even thinking about right now in the discussion, and it's going to be some halo piece. It's going to be something very expensive, something very high concept, and it's going to be something that if it's not included in their print catalog or from, you know, caught the wave of the digital event, that's fine. It's a, you know, it speaks for itself. It's truly a novelty rather than a core model added to the lineup like we see with the Tudor chrono.
I agree. I think we are going to see something because I could really see brands doing that, trying to get some more attention, and it's a great way to kind of carry out your release and split it up and, you know, have multiple days of releases and talking points. But I don't think it's going to be one of the big brands like Rolex or Patek or something like that. It's probably going to be, like you said, one of the smaller ones, and maybe you know, a halo piece, something that's not really one of their catalog mainstays or one of their major updates that people have kind of been expecting. Nonetheless, I still think it's fun. It's great. I'm excited to hear what those pieces are going to be. You know, I expect to see something new. I just don't really know what it's going to be.
It'll be, if we do see anything, it'll definitely be fun, and because the whole point of that would be to have something unexpected, catch some headlines. I'm most curious to see all the in-person photos that are going to come out.
Yes.
A lot of these, all we've seen are renderings, press photos, and now we're going to see what it looks like on the wrist. We're going to see some angles that maybe the brand didn't want to show, you know, regarding thickness and kind of just dimensionality of some of these. So I'm curious to see that. But
so this is the first time that people are actually going to get hands-on with the watches other than the brands themselves, right?
Some of them, there's been press samples already sent out, but for the bulk of it, this is the first kind of open forum time for a lot of them. I mean, after the 17th, we're going to see a lot more hands-on photos, and you know, some of these watches, it looks great on paper. Let's see how it looks on the wrist, and then make the informed decision after that.
Yeah, see a true wrist shot and see it actually out in the wild.
Yeah, although a 38 millimeter Diver 65 in bronze is going to wear fantastic, so I'm still a buyer for that even without seeing one.
You can buy that one. Yeah, you can buy that one off the website alone. I'm sure.
Absolutely. I think that's about all we can cover without this getting too long. Obviously, there's a lot of other fantastic and notable releases.
There's tons of pieces. There's tons of stuff to go over.
That's about it for our favorite new releases from Watches and Wonders Geneva. Obviously, if we see anything really noteworthy from Shanghai, we'll be sure to follow up with another video. But in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video content.